out in a lobby area to protect those that are inside just worshiping. I'd just like you to speak to that and to the difficulty that it presents just processing the need for this.
Yeah, it's certainly not a world that I want to have become a reality. I think it would be very, very strange if I were to go to my wife's church and there would be an armed guard at the door. And it's not what we're used to. It's not what we should have. I'm not sure it's the right solution. But look, everything should be on the table. We should talk about everything. It should be situational. You know, a situation in Peterborough, New Hampshire would be very different than a situation in New York City. Or I don't understand. Squirrel Hill is a community I don't know well, but I've been there a couple of times, and it is not a place that I would have thought something like this could have happened, but it happened there. I just don't know the right answer. I do think the rhetoric that is used by most of our elected leadership should be very careful in how they use it. And you know, I don't like insightful language. I don't like insightful actions that would cause people to take the wrong step. I'm not sure it's intentional when the rhetoric is offered, but some people are listening and they say, I'm going to react in some negative way that would be harmful. So I do want people to be careful with the rhetoric they use, especially our elected officials, and not just the president, but others as well, on both sides of the political spectrum in both parties. It's important for us to have language today that is respectful, that causes people to participate in our democracy in a good, clean way. I want people to come and vote. I want people to have the courage to run for office. I want people to be respectful of people who serve in government, even though they may disagree with some of the policies that they articulate. That's what America is about. So I want a calming voice to lead our country, and I'm hoping the president's voice will be one of those calming voices. But it should be an echo on both sides of the aisle, on the political spectrum. It should all be talking about the need for us to value life, to value respect, value dialogue, and value the reality of a democracy that can talk about things without being angry.
Well said, Andy Card. My last question to you, sir, as we listen to the president answering a few questions before boarding Air Force One, would you have advised him to either make a more, I guess, definitive statement on his thoughts, or would you have suggested that he wade into these different areas rather freewheeling as the reporters were asking him questions? How would you advise the president to handle things this morning?
Well, I think offer calming language, language of concern, language of sincere sympathy and empathy for the challenges that a community is going to have. Think of this community in Squirrel Hill, Pennsylvania, and what they're going through. Think of the families. Think of the people who are inside the synagogue that witnessed this. Think of the victims and their families. That's the empathy that I would like to see. I thought the question from a reporter talking about gun control was not very appropriate at this time. That's not the time to have that debate. And certainly you wouldn't be able to solve that problem overnight anyway. So this is a time for reflection, for telling people that we'll stand together and let's show a little bit more love and compassion and try to help everybody out.
Andy Card, again, well said, sir. Thank you very much for weighing in. We do appreciate your insights. Sean Henry, once again to you. So you've spent over a couple of hours here sitting with me as we've been breaking down this story. And Sean, you've gotten these nuggets of information. Now, how does social media